Okay, I just lost my old chain of thought, so I started recording this before, but apparently the audio was not working, so now it's working again. Horrible video quality, I know, but eventually I thought that's a good time to just record. So as I was saying in the last video, um, ooh, double chin. Okay, so 9:30. It's 9:30 p.m. here where I'm living, and it's just like 2.5 hours away. My Sade Sati is going to end, and I'm recording it on the last day of my Sade Sati, that is March 28th, 2025. And this video, I'm just talking about my Sade Sati experience. And my Sade Sati is going to end, but I don't feel like it at all. Um, because I don't think my life is going to become exponentially better after this. They say that after Sade Sati ends, there are things in your life that starts to change, and good things starts to happen. But I don't think so. It's like entirely true because um, if good things were to happen, like magical things were to happen, all of a sudden they would have already started to happen at this point, but it has not. Uh, my life has been going as is for the last 10 years. Nothing much has changed, but yes, pre Sade Sati, post Sade Sati, there's definitely different things that have changed. And Sade Sati, they say that it's a very difficult period in your life. But in my case, I cannot relate exactly to the worst of the worst kind of stories that I've heard about people who have faced their Sade Sati. For me, and according to my Kundli also, Sade Sati is a good period for me in terms of gain, right? It's a good period in terms of gain. But Sade Sati is a kind of a signature style where you feel a lot of anxiety and tension in your life. And that definitely has happened with me in my Sade Sati period. I didn't knew anything about that. Like until last year, I didn't even know that my Sade Sati is running. And I was completely unaware. But then when I got to understand, okay, now Sadesati is going on, now I can understand why exactly the things happened in the way they happened and why my mental state was like this for the last 7 to 8 years of my life. And I want to just talk about that. Let's keep this video short and I'll just go ahead and just I have some pointers already there on my screen on the left hand side. So first is what I'm going to talk about is what is Sade Sati. Sade Sati is a period where your Saturn in your Kundli, in your transit chart, has a major impact on your Rashi. Right? Rashi is the moon sign for you. So for about 7.5 period or three transitions of Saturn in your transit chart, it covers your Rashi, your moon sign for that substantial period. And when that happens, as Saturn is a planet of karma, it's a planet of the right English word is duty, hard work, slowness, stability, gravity. So does your life and your mental state become in those 7.5 years? Things starts to not go in the manner that you want. Opposite things starts to happen. You become slow in your life, in your growth. You also tend to lose some stuff because of your mental agony, mental anxiety, and stuff like that. That's what Sadesati is basically. Now I will just talk about what my Sade Sati experience was, and I cannot just start this video without even talking about how my period pre Sade Sati was and how it was during Sade Sati. So pre Sade Sati, I was the things from 2015 2017 that I can remember is that I had a very chill life. 2015 to 2017. I was doing BTech in my college at that time, and I had a very chill life. The things that I can recall from this period are Netflix and chill, you know, Clash of Clans, a lot of TV watching, a lot of fun, a lot of masti, the things that I like to do, right? All of those things. I didn't used to have a lot of tension about my future. I didn't used to study. I absolutely didn't used to study, and that was very surprising because I have been always a studious guy throughout my life in my school. And during this period, I didn't used to study. And in fact, yeah, let's talk about that later. But my lowest CGPA was like really poor. Like I remember in one of the semester, I got 5.8. It's not surprising for someone, but for someone um, who was really studious his entire student life, who had a really good 12th board percentage, is now going to the college, not studying at all, having finding no meaning in his life, and that guy is just playing Clash of Clans and watching Netflix throughout the day. I used to binge watch. I mean, oh my God, how many series I have binged watched, because that was the time when these TV series started to like blow up on the internet. Web series started to come, so many platform. I remember TVF. I used to watch a lot of TVF, Netflix, HBO, Game of Thrones. I mean, Game of Thrones was my first TV series that I had binge watched, like all 5 seasons, binge watched every day, one season every day. From morning till late 2 a.m. in the night, I used to watch, and absolutely no care about the future, what I'm going to do next in my life. So that was my pre-Sade Sati period. I didn't even know what kind of storm was going to hit me. Mm, right now, Sade Sati begins in 2017. So 2017, I think I had already entered my third year of college. Um, I distinctly remember I was in sixth semester when I got up when I failed for the first time in my life in an exam. Unthinkable, right? Because I cannot fail. Okay. Uh, the people who know me in the last 7 to 8 years would cannot even believe their ears that a person like me could have backlogs in subjects, right? And I failed. I got two backlogs, not one, but two backlogs. And the reason for getting those backlogs was not because I had not answered in the exam, but it was a personal vendetta, I'll say, for one of the professor who noticed that I didn't used to come to his class and I used to waste a lot of time playing games and didn't used to pay attention in his class. So he had some kind of a personal vendetta and he gave me a backlog in two subjects, despite the fact that I had written substantially well, not well, I'll say decently. I've written decently to at least pass in the examination, but he failed me. That was his reason. He told me by himself when I went for reevaluation. He told me that he had failed me. That was his intention. So that was the beginning of Sade Sati for me. Saturn enters your life, gives you a reality check. That's what Saturn does, right? That's what Saturn has effect on you. Now, failing in the exam is not important. I don't think it's a loss that I have to worry a lot about. But after failing in and getting two backlogs, what happened was I become too anxious from that point. Um, all that chill was gone, right? I was scared now that if I start failing now in the exams, like my score was already decreasing a lot in the examinations, and now I was getting backlogs. So that was very concerning for me because in seventh semester, placement drives happen, right? And in my college, the placement drives are not that good, but I still wanted to sit in the placement drive. But because of the backlogs, I was not able to sit, and that raised my anxiety and tension again. I started feeling in the similar manner how I used to feel during my JEE preparations, spending time in mental agony and anxiety. And at that time, during my JEE mains, I had again Saturn's influence when I was going through Saturn's Antardasha with Rahu Mahadasha. And yes, that happened. And I started studying again out of fear. And that's a signature style of Saturn, right? It inculcates fear in you, that anxiety, that tension. Come on, boy, start working. He takes a stick and then he, make you run. It's not a stick. It's not a carrot and stick in front of you. It's a stick behind you, and he beat you. Uh, that's the first thing that's going to happen for someone who's going to enter their sadasati. But you know, that was for good of me because I started studying. And I remember in my seventh semester, I scored a CGPA of 8, going from, let's say, 6, around 6 CGPA to 8 CGPA. That was a big bump. And then in my last semester, I had a 8.6 CGPA, which was second highest in my class at that time. Unbelievable because I had such a downward dip that I could not have think of like going upwards later in the last semester, but I did, and that brought my CGPA above, like my final CGPA in my engineering above 7, and that was good. Like engineering above 7 CGPA was decent, but civil engineering I never liked studying, but somehow I studied because of this effect. That was one. So each Sadesati comes with their own peak, right? So there is at the peak time, the effect of Saturn's influence is the highest in your life, right? And that happened three times because Dhaya means 2.5, 2.5, 2.5 years, where it transits from one sign to another sign. In each sign, it has its massive influence, right? And these are called like peak. I think the spelling of peak is wrong here. Please just pardon me for that. It's Peak, not Pweek. So peak happened for me in 2018. You know what, I'll just change it. I just have an OCD here to just correct my mistake. One of the Saturn's gift to me. Anyways, peak one happened in 2018. So 2018, I still hasn't been graduated from my college, but as you know, I had a newborn anxiety and tension in me to just study hard now and not fail. And I was already very angry on that professor that you gave me a backlog because of your own personal reason. Now I'm not going to sit in campus placements. So no matter how angry I was not still allowed to sit in campus placement. And it was also the time when I, got really depressed because of the fact that if this kind of attitude is going to happen with me, right, where the professors are going to fail me, I have to study something that is I don't like. How is my life going to be going forward? And that was the first time in my life when I gave a careful thought about what I want to do next in my life. And when that thought came to my mind, that was the time when I got serious. I got serious, I got sad, I got depressed, I got anxious, all at the same time. So many emotions, all negative emotions at the same time, telling me that you don't have much options left. You have to continue in this career stream itself and you can't do anything about it. That was my 2018. I think that effect also went till 2019, right? So that was the first peak in my life in Sade Sati, right? Where there was this newfound worry and concern about my career. A boy who was just spending his chill time doing all of this stuff has finally found his first question that he has to solve, first problem he has to solve, first question he has to answer about himself, which was what next? What are you going to do in your career? Right? Where are you going forward? You don't like civil engineering, then what? So that question started arising in my mind again and again. So now I started working a lot in the field of web development, programming. I started learning it, started pursuing it seriously. And I told my father that I don't see my career even in the programming realm, even the software engineering line, even though I like it, I'm passionate about it. It's just a hobby for me right now. But eventually, when 2019 came, this became even more cause of a worry for me, because seriously there was no path forward for me, right? And then I move forward. I remember I had stopped watching Netflix. I had stopped playing games. I had stopped enjoying myself. I used to spend time just worrying and thinking, what's next? How I am going to solve this? So this kind of change came in me, and that's what the 2018 did. It set the direction of my life towards one path. This is what I'm going to do. So when 2019 came, I graduated out of the college. I had no job. I had no career like clean path as to what I have to do, what I want to do next. I knew that I want to do computer science. I want to study computer science. That's I wanted to do, right? So, but there was no path, and I wanted to be a software engineer, not civil engineer, or follow do any masters and do prepare for gate and stuff like that. I didn't wanted to do all of that. So 2018 set the direction, first peak set the direction. Second peak came in 2020 when I had decided that I'll prepare for MCA, which is prepare for NIMSET and other MC examinations so that I can get a second chance in my life to study computer science. And as you know, 2020 was not a good period for any of us. We had lost many of our loved ones. Thankfully, by the grace of God, I didn't lose anyone during 2020. And 2020 was a period where it was the first time when I started studying Bhagavad Gita, because the fear in me had grown tremendously that if I don't do this, then I'm done for. My life is over. I have no other option. My time is like 4 year I've lost in doing studying things that I didn't wanted, and now I don't have any option. And 2020 came, I started studying Bhagavad Gita, and with the faith and trust in God, I just started working hard. Like I remember I used to work like anything during the during March period of 2020 when COVID almost hit. 12 hours, 10 hours, studying continuously in the same room where I'm sitting right now, on the same table, on the same laptop, and not same laptop. I guess the laptop has changed. Yeah. So that was my story in peak two. Extreme exorbitant work that I used to do in my peak two, and always filled with anxiety, anxiety of COVID, anxiety of what's going to happen in my life, where I'm going forward, and stuff like that. But with that, I used to work hard. And peak two, peak one set the direction in my life. Peak two gave me the second opportunity in my life, which was I got into NIT Warangal to study MCA. That was like a blessing to me, for which I worked, but it was a blessing given to me by the God and the support of my parents. I'm truly thankful for God to have given me such a great parents who, through thick and thin, they stayed with me. Because if you ask my mother, 2020 and 2019 was a period in my life where I used to get frustrated easily. I used to cry. I used to get depressed. I used to get sad, and that energy I used to share with my parents, and especially my mother. She gracefully handled me and my situation during that time. And thankfully, I'll say that I qualified NIMSET and I got into NIT Warangal, and I was one step forward, one step further in my pursuit to follow my dream, which was to study computer science. Still, that was just it, right? I just wanted to study computer science. I had no other career plans. I'm going to earn money and stuff like that. So I got enrolled in that. And NIT Warangal has been nothing short of just the right thing that I wanted at the right moment in my life. Yeah. I didn't pursue that career. Actually, if you ask outside, in the career realm, they will say that doing MC after BTech is not a good option, because BTech is an engineering degree, MC is a professional degree. I didn't care anything about any of that, because I just wanted to study computer science. I worked hard for it. I got it. But after that, okay, the things didn't end. But by my third Dhaiya, by the third transit of Saturn, I had already become well versed with with working hard, with enduring. My endurance has increased, my mental strength has increased, and I had a new found faith and confidence in me that yes, I can do something. That's what my Sade Sati in my second peak gave me. First peak gave me the direction, second peak instilled the faith in me, and the third peak was all about action. Okay, that's what my peak three was. It's all about action in my life. So when I went into NIT Warangal again was not a piece of cake. I wanted to study computer science. Here I went to study computer science, and the curriculum and the academic atmosphere, everything is quite challenging, right? Coming from there, the toiling period of studying for NIMSET, and then coming into the college and started studying in such a tough academic environment, and giving exams and also scoring well in exams. I didn't thought that I had done much, right? But getting into NIT Warangal and studying there also was natural to me, just natural, because everything was just right when I went inside of NIT Warangal. I will say that in 2020 also, when the peak 2 came, there was also some problems related to my home at that time, but it didn't I didn't lost anything in my peak 2. There was no loss, right? People lose in Sadasati. I didn't lose. I only gained with hard work, right? And mental anxiety. 20 so I spent from 2020 to 2022, I spent my time in the Sadesati itself in NIT Warangal, and finally in my peak 3 I got one more gift from Saturn or Sadesati, was that I got placed in a good company, right? I got placed in a good company, and I was finally going to work as a software engineer, the thing that I always wanted in my life to do, that the thing that I always desired, that was according to my desires are were going to fulfill finally. Okay, that's what the power of Sadesati is. It might take some things from you, but in return it gives you the thing that you need the most, and it changed you the most. And if you ask people around, it's not easy to pivot career from one place to another and do all of these things and then finally have a you know winning flag in your hand at the end of the race. That's not possible. And Sarasati made me do it. Lord Krishna made me do it. My parents was always supportive of me, and I'll say that for me, Sadasati, even though it was very tough period mentally, but I had only gained stuff in Sadasati in terms of career and in terms of academics. I had when I went into NIT Warangal in my last peak, I had the most success that I could ever imagine academically in my life. I also got to work as in different roles in the university itself. I helped people out. I made a little bit of name for myself and stuff like that, but none of that for me, those things I don't feel them. Okay, uh, at that time I didn't felt them at that time, but now when I think of it, I can definitely say that this was surreal. This last 8 years were surreal, taking me from failing in backlogs to here today recording this video with a newfound confidence and a newfound purpose in life, where I would want to help people with all of my knowledge that I could possibly can, and doing nishkam karm and not expecting much out of life, even though I might have some problems, like any human being, in terms of desires, unlimitless desires and greed and stuff like that. But Sadhasati has taught me the the secret of hard work, the secret of nishkam karm, and the fact that things will turn out our way if we just keep faith in God. right? So last two things. One, what has changed in my life? The most important thing I'll say is like it's a newfound confidence and purpose in my life that has changed. Also, the outlook to look at the world has also changed. I think, yeah, definitely there are some negative traits also that has been inculcated in me, but I think those will like go away after some time when Sade Sati is going to end from tomorrow, right? I cannot just I cannot just help myself from smiling whenever I say that Sade Sati is going to end. But it's like a bittersweet feeling in me, mostly sweet, but bittersweet feeling in me that finally there is no stick behind my back. I can take a fresh breath of just peace, nothing else. Um, I don't have to wake up tomorrow in anxiety. Maybe I think it will take some time, but that mental agony, anxiety, and the worry of future, the tension of what to do next, what should I do, the action oriented way of thinking of life is, I feel, will eventually subside, which is good and bad both, because now I'll get more lethargic and more chill as I used to be pre Sadesati period. And but This teachings will remain with me, right? So I think Sadesati is more like a training for your life that should happen um, period by period in your life, because if you become lethargic and if there's no one to train you, then you will make things worse for yourself. You won't hustle, you won't work hard, and you won't attain things and you fulfill your desires, and you will find that the life is not worth living if you don't fulfill and desires and work for them, and face some tough shifts in your life, right? That's what has changed in my life. A newfound confidence and a newfound purpose in life. Second is my advice for someone who's going in Sadesati. I cannot relate to everyone's Sadesati, because for me Sadesati was a period of gain, not loss. The last 8 years. So from a point of that, I cannot relate to the people who actually lose during Sadesati. But one thing is that Saturn has come in, like it's coming in your life to teach you something, and you should not take that lightly. You should not complain too much. So yeah, you can cry, you can grieve, you can have sadness in your life, but you should never try to curse Saturn, and try to think of Saturn as a very negative planet, because it's a planet. So there are two kinds of teachers in your life you must have faced. One teacher would be very supportive of you, very gentle of you. They will teach you with polite words, right? And there's another teacher who's going to beat the shit out of you and going to teach you. You have to decide which teacher you have to follow, because one of those teacher is Jupiter, right? And Jupiter, sometime or the other, also have influence in your life, either in Antardasha or during your transit. But we don't learn because Jupiter is so gentle that you don't even observe. But then Saturn comes in and it starts to point out all the bad habits we have, and all the lethargy we have, and all the challenges we did not facing, and then it comes with a stick and it beats the shit out of you, and that's how you that's how you learn, right? That's how you complain, oh my God, Saturn has made my life just really tough. Yes, tough is good for some period, and that some period is going to be 7.5 years for people who will start their Sadesati from tomorrow, maybe Aries Rashi. By the way, I am also Aries Lagna. Okay, so right now in my transit chart, Saturn will be in my 12th house for next 2.5 years, and Saturn in 12th house only promotes Nishkam Karma. So for me, Saturn has no chill. Okay, being a Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn itself, okay, and then being an Aries Lagna where Saturn is uh, in current transit, the Saturn is going to have adverse effect also. So my life is not going to get that easy for at least next 2 years. But I know how to handle Saturn's energy going forward, and I wish you all the best. And if you like to talk to me about more about Sadesati and how do you tackle it, maybe I can give more insights from my last 8 years of my life. Or else you can also post things in comments and let me know if your Sade Sati is going to begin, or if your Sade Sati is currently going, or if your Sade Sati is going to end just like me for tomorrow. How has the Sade Sati been for you? With that said, I will just like to close and see you again in some other video. Thank you. Bye.